honestly, no one plans on getting into a car accident, right? So when it happens, we're so unprepared to handle what happens next. But there are some things that you can do now so that you are prepared. Joe Brown, founding partner at Accident Law Group, is here with some tips. And first of all, I have to tell you, just love your commercial, Joe.
Thank you very much, Terry.
We did a little spoof on that a moment ago, but yeah, Joe Brown, everybody straighten up. You can't plan for this to happen. So what are some of your best tried and true tips that we can do right now so that we are better prepared?
Well, you need to look at your insurance. You need to have uninsured, underinsured medical payments coverage. Make sure you have adequate limits to cover in the event that something does happen that you can't predict. And it doesn't happen in the most convenient time. It never does. It's kind of like my commercial.
Right.
And that's really the point, is that you're going to be overwhelmed. Make sure you protect yourself in advance by actually having the appropriate insurance coverages.
Now, you used to be a former insurance adjuster, and so part of the things that I think a lot of people have issues with is understanding what some of these things are that we should have. Should we, I guess, sit down with our insurance agent and have it explained to us?
I think you should. And one of the big misconceptions is medical payments coverage. You don't need it if you have health insurance. Well, that's wrong, because you have deductibles, co-pays, and that's what medical payments coverage will help pay for. Because if you're out of work, you don't have money for a deductible or a co-pay. So that helps there. Uninsured, underinsured. Uninsured is when someone doesn't have any insurance. Underinsured when the other person doesn't have enough insurance.
Okay.
And the minimum in this state's $15,000 in coverage.
Okay.
You go to the hospital, you just ate up $15,000 in coverage.
Exactly. You know, we sit with you often, and you are always giving us great tips to follow along. But in most cases, it's pretty smart, especially if it's not your fault, is to reach out and get a lawyer and get some help. So when people call you, Joe, you really focus on individualizing and personalizing cases. Why is that important to us as your potential client?
Well, I think a lot of law firms, it's just a cookie cutter. You tell their lawyers, do this. Every time someone comes in, you send them to this doctor, and then that doctor sends them here. And we sit down and evaluate, what do you need? What is the best course?
Like one-on-one with me.
One-on-one with you. I mean, whether it's on the phone, a lot of times we meet with the clients over the phone. They call in and they don't have time to come to the office. Well, you're going to talk to a lawyer over the phone. And let's figure out what you need. What are your symptoms? You know, do you have a concussion? Do you just have a soft tissue neck and back injury? Do you have something more severe? Where do you need to go to get better? Because first and foremost, let's get you better.
Oh, wow.
Because if you're not better, who cares what money you get?
You know what? You're absolutely right. And I want to talk about the fact that, and speaking to a lawyer is so super important, because you don't always get that luxury when you call some other places.
Most places you don't.
So in talking to you, though, the experience that your entire team has, you have several offices now, the years of experience behind you all is pretty amazing.
I think it's great. I mean, we have over 100 years. I mean, it makes me feel old. I didn't realize I've been doing this long.
Well, they're not all your years.
They're not all my years. That is true. But more importantly, the experience comes from both sides. You know, my litigation team has almost 60 years, or we have almost 60 years on the other side, on the defense side. And we understand, not only do I understand, but I teach our lawyers understand, my defense or my litigators understand what is going on at the other side.
Yeah,
we can prepare. Exactly.
Yeah.
We're prepared. We're prepared for them. I always say, I've said it many times in my commercial, we know what they're going to do before they do it, so we can prepare for it.
I like that. Here's something else that's very important, is that you are not going to ask for a check up front. You don't want my credit card number or anything like that.
We get paid when the case settles. You do not walk in and give me a retainer like you would do any other lawyer. You know what? We're comfortable and confident in what we do. We take your case. We get paid when the case settles. We know we're going to do a good job. We also offer the fair fee guarantee, which means we never take more than the client. So a lot of law firms, if they do wait to be paid, well, they get a third. And oh well, whatever's left over is what's left over. And that's not how it is at Accident Law Group.
Okay.
We never take more than a client. We want to make sure the person who's hurt is better and they got fair compensation.
Awesome. Good stuff, Joe. As always, thank you. I appreciate that. And everybody should have a photo of Joe on their credenza, by the way. Accident Law Group has offices valley-wide. Here's how you can find one near you. All you have to do is dial **ALG and find that location, or visit accidentlawgroup.com.